So I'm Dr. Melanie Best. I work at the University of Wolverhampton within the sports team, but I'm also chair of Ride Hire. So RIDE stands for Realising the Inclusion of Disabled Employees in Higher Education, and in short it's a framework that we've created to try and improve the inclusion of disabled staff within higher education. So in essence we're creating a website, and the website becomes the platform or the go-to point for individuals to access information. And on the website there'll be case studies of best practice organised by theme, which will explore a range of different disability inclusion issues. So it could be staff disability leave through to a reasonable adjustments passport, sharing campaigns, and many, many other issues in between. And the idea is that the website is accessible to everybody, so a disabled member of staff to a dean, a vice-chancellor, and you can access these case studies of best practice to try and help to guide and shape your own disability inclusion work and priorities, and so you're not reinventing the wheel. You've got a starting point and an opportunity to learn from the experiences of other universities. I think some universities will have an idea already of what they want to achieve in terms of their disability inclusion work. So they may have identified a need already to introduce a reasonable adjustments passport, for example. And they want to have a look at what's out there within the sector so they can identify what best practice they can look to adopt themselves, and they're not reinventing the wheel. I think in other cases it's a case of them not necessarily knowing what to put forwards and needing ideas. And the idea behind Ride Hire is that universities can access a self-assessment tool to help to identify where they might have gaps or to focus their thinking on a particular area of work, and then that will direct them accordingly to the relevant case study so they can then action those things. What I think is happening next for us is we're launching the National Disabled Staff Survey, and that is intended to temperature check the sector. We want to see what the lived experience is of disabled staff at the moment, and we want universities to be able to act upon that information and improve their practices in respect of disabled staff. And for any disabled staff that want to know more, or anybody really working in the sector that wants to know more, they can reach out to myself through my email, melanie.best@wlv.ac.uk, to find more information. We have a steering committee, we have a working group, and we're setting up a partnership group. So there's a number of ways in which people can stay apprised of what's going on, as well as through the NADSN, NADSN social media channels as well, because Ride Hire operates under NADSN. In effect, Ride Hire was created by and for disabled people working in the sector. That's all disabled people, whether they're academics, professional services staff, whether they've shared a disability or whether they've kept that to themselves. We want it to be accessible to everybody. We want everybody to be able to benefit from this, disabled staff and colleagues. We want to create an environment within higher education that's welcoming and accessible, so disabled people feel they can be their true selves and don't have to hide an identity. So the Ride Hire website is going to be the platform by which people can access this information in these case studies, and it's very much free, accessible to anybody, a welcoming space for all universities, irrespective of their starting point. This isn't intended to be a punitive approach. It's not intended to be resource heavy. It's really a resource, a mechanism by which we can formalise that sharing of practice across universities so that everybody can benefit. So I think if you're working at a university, whether in whatever role that might be, and you're wanting to learn more about Ride Hire and how that might work within your own setting, reach out to us on our steering committee, have a look at our website, and use that as an opportunity to create that first starting conversation with us or with colleagues in order to work out how you might be able to use that to your best advantage. There's a real movement in the sector, I think, at the moment towards trying to improve the lived experience of disabled staff and students. We've got the Disabled Student Commitment, there's the University Mental Health Charter, and I think that Ride Hire is really part of that movement about change, about culture change, and I think it's really important that that happens. Equally, with the Direction of Travel or Advanced HE, they're looking to create a holistic charter, holistic EDI charter, and they'll need to signpost organisations towards best practice, and Ride Hire is one of those organisations that can really provide tangible, useful resources that universities can tap into to guide them if they're choosing to focus on disability inclusion work for that charter.